typical Washington weeks. After a week layoff, we are back a day late, not $1 short, or at least I hope not. 310-876-8064. That is the phone number that you should call to talk to us. Tonight, I have my co-host, RJ Ciancio.
Thank you for having me. I'd like to thank the Academy.
The Academy? The Academy of what? Wait, what?
I don't know. I'm having fun tonight. Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe.
Hey, you're fine. And tonight we have a special guest and co-host, I guess, as well, and Mark Ongst. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. At AFN. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
That would be Mark with a K, by the way. Just to
Mark with the K. Yeah, Mark with the K. Yeah, no confusion. Mark with the K. At AFN Talk across all social media platforms, including Instagram. Yes, we have an Instagram. My producer made sure to let me know that I had to say that this time. We have one. AFNtalk.com and AFN.net. We are brought to you tonight by PrimetimeSports.com. RJ, championship weekend. Well, championship 2 weekends, really. We have 2 championship games that we need to discuss tonight. AFL championship game happened 2 weeks ago with the Philadelphia Soul losing in a valiant effort against the Albany Empire. What can you tell us a little bit about this game?
Well, it was the 20th anniversary of the Albany Firebirds winning their only Arena Bowl. Arena football icon, touchdown Eddie Brown, who, by the way, is the father of the super diva Antonio Brown, was in the building. The Times Union Center was just about as packed as you could get without a complete sellout, over 12,000 strong. Of course, Jaws was happy no matter what happened. It was his 2 teams fighting it out. Overall, amazing environment, and Albany showed up and did what they couldn't do last year and finished business.
Yeah, and this game was really, it started off rather rough for the Empire. The Soul jumped on quick and early. The Soul made this game pretty competitive throughout, but the second half it kind of got away from them. Mark, I know that you watched a little bit of this game. What'd you come away with as far as this Albany team was concerned? They were the best team all year, and nobody really expected them to be contested in this game. But I imagine that some people sang a different tune, by halftime once Philadelphia really put up a good fight here.
Albany was dominant pretty much the whole game. And yes, Philly was up a little bit, but Albany was dominant. They were dominant all year. They were dominant in the playoffs. They were dominant in this game. That you could tell they were the best team, no doubt. You watch Tom Grady, because he played like him all season long. Maybe he is better. But yeah, just watching that team, they just look unstoppable this year. Offensively, defensively, maybe the lights were a little too bright at first, but once they got settled down, they were perfect.
Yeah, the Empire was a fun ride watching these guys all year. They really they had a well-oiled machine out there, and like you said, the Tom Brady, maybe they were the New England Patriots of this year in Arena League. Yeah, I see that look, RJ. I know. So, but the Albany Empire, man. RJ, you have to admit that this season was actually really impressive across the board for a team that, I don't know how many really expected this kind of a dominant performance all season from them.
I'm not surprised in the slightest once the AAF folded, because they got Malachi Jones back. Malachi Jones is this year's best receiver in the AAL, in my opinion, up there with T.T. Tolliver and Joe Hill, amazing players. But I think Jones, we could see him in the XFL soon. He's that talented of a guy. And I think he and Tommy Grady have amazing chemistry. Coach Rob Keefe kept the core guys he had last year. Overall, they kept the core, which is so important to do in these leagues because you don't sign these major multi-year deals. So to have a good relationship with your player and coaches is always vital, and Albany did it. It's interesting to see if Malachi Jones will make it in the XFL, even the NFL, and then how Albany will fill that vacancy, because as much as I love Malachi Jones in Albany and I had the pleasure of seeing him play last year, I don't see him staying in the AFL for long.
Yeah, I think arguably Malachi Jones is probably the best wide receiver that the AFL has. I know Joe Hill's set all kinds of records there in Baltimore, but Malachi Jones is definitely a difference maker for the most part across the entire league, all 6 teams. RJ, what's the first of all? First question I want to ask you is a 2020 preview here, because they haven't officially announced all of the all the expansion teams yet. There's the wind of the Cleveland Gladiators coming back, which I'm assuming that's pretty much basically all but official. Who do you expect, as far as the team is concerned, to be the most improved next year?
Next year, Columbus Destroyers, without a doubt. I think if they can build a offense around Fabian Guerrera and company, then honestly, I don't know why that team can't make a deep playoff run. I think they poached one of the best players from the NAL last year in Guerrera. They got Craig the Leg Peterson, in my mind, the best kicker in the AFL. They have some pieces. They're going to have to do some work in the recruiting of the offseason, but I really believe the Columbus Destroyers will have an amazing next season. That's not to discredit Atlantic City either. I think they're going to have a good year next year, but I just think Columbus has more pieces in place right now.
Mark, how about you? Same question. Who do you think is going to be the most improved team in the league in the AFL next year?
Most improved. I'm going to go with Baltimore. They did make the playoffs, but I could see if they do a couple things, they could turn it around, maybe make a deeper run in the playoffs. Not sure how the playoffs will work next year if they do have more teams, but I could see them making a move.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Baltimore, for me, would be if they keep their core group and, like RJ said, there's not multi-year, contracts here. It's a year-by-year basis for the most part. But if they can return a lot of the same core players and really keep that team together, I think Baltimore could make that next step. Way too early 2020 prediction for the championship, RJ. Who are you going to go with?
Man, you know what? For the sake of changing things up, so Ted won it last year at the Valor. Jaws won it this year, so I'm going to say Columbus Destroyers this upcoming year.
And Mark, the exact same question to you. I know that you're still fairly new with this, but way too early 2020 prediction for AFL Championship.
I'm going to go with Atlantic City. They're close to here. I'm going to go with Atlantic City. They're close to here. I'd like to see it happen for that town. Let's go with them.
I as much as I want to see the Washington Valor get another one, with Averill Nelson, who I think is a fantastic quarterback.
Oh, he is.
I think he's by far a gamer. I'm actually going to probably go with the Philadelphia Soul. I think that they're going to pull it off next year. But it will be interesting to see what happens with these expansion teams. We talked a little bit, RJ, about them expanding by 2 to 4. You're adamant about 2. Did the commissioner? I haven't seen anything. Has the commissioner said anything about what's the number that they're going to do, or is it still just speculation as far as how many they're going to expand to?
I believe Randall Bowe said 2 this year and then 2 the year after. Jaws wanted to do 4, but I think Bowe pulled him back a bit, and I can see why, because you don't want to rush things too far. And listen, I can tell Jaws is a very energetic guy, and I'm excited as he is, but I think Bowe's making the right choice here to do it by 2 teams.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think 2 is the right there, right about number there too, because obviously expanding slowly is the best way to do it. I think the AFL could handle expanding to 4, but like we've discussed in the past, I think it's just easier to do it slower and build this thing back up. Because in my opinion, I think arena indoor football is definitely trending in the right direction. 310-876-8064. This is the number you want to call if you have any questions, chime in, comments of any sort. We are brought to you tonight by primetimesports.com, at AFN Talk across all social media, afntalk.com, afn.net. Another championship game that happened, this past weekend, and it was a thriller down in Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Sharks really just kind of eked out a win down there against the Carolina Cobras. RJ, Jacksonville was the main team all year in the NAL. I think most people expected this kind of to be the matchup between the two. What'd you think of the game, my man?
Well, I thought going into it that Carolina was going to win it. I really did, because I thought without Cody Saul, that the Sharks were going to be destroyed because Saul plays Iron Man ball, which means he plays both ways. He plays receiver and linebacker, and he's pretty darn good at both positions. And after that altercation at the end of the Columbus game, I thought, darn, they have a week to figure this out. And Gilchrist comes in, and I'm like, oh boy, let's see how he does. And you know what Carolina did, which I said they couldn't do in the pregame show, is make stupid mistakes. And what do you know? Jacksonville really didn't. The only thing I didn't like that Jacksonville really did that entire game was pulling Faithful and putting Bane in for a short period of time. But they realized before it was too late, now we're sticking with Faithful for the rest of the game. And won't you know it, Sasha Burley and company bring home a championship to end the team's 10th season, and that decade of dominance has an amazing cherry on top of it at the end.
Absolutely. And Bryce Burge of AFN Talk was live at the game. Belazine, the linebacker of Jacksonville, made a sensational interception that he returned for a touchdown. The next play, he recovered an onside kick that led to Jacksonville's go-ahead touchdown, and AFN Talk's Bryce Burge caught up with him at the end of the game.
So, obviously, you had that huge pick six. Tell me what you see when you're all alone and that ball comes straight to you.
To be honest, I was anticipating it. We were down, and, I was really expecting to make a play, so my hands was ready. I was really focused, and, it came to me. The ball came to me. When it came to me, I secured it and, ran the touchdown and, just trying to help my team win, man.
And what are you thinking when you dive into the end zone?
Oh, man, we got a ball game. We still in the game, and, that's exactly what happened. We scored. We came back. We made a good play on special teams. Then our offense came in and finished the game. So it was a great storybook finish, if you could say that.
When you're dealing with the way that this game went, Carolina went up real quickly. How do you rebound from that to get back on top?
Yeah, adversity. Coach Burley, he's been preaching adversity since the beginning of the season. He puts us in situations where we're down at practice, and it helps us in the game. So, just basically staying composed. We've been in this situation where we've been down before, so it's about staying composed, keeping that composure, and just fighting through adversity. And you're going to come out on top in the end if you just keep fighting.
At any point, did you feel like the game was? I mean, obviously you won, so it's easy to say now. But at any point in the second half, did you feel like the game was getting away from you and that it might be out of hand?
Never. That last possession when I actually got the pick, we were kind of looking down a little bit. I was preaching to him, hey, let's go. We still got a lot of game left. And, it just happened to happen like that. So, in my mind, I try to, be a positive thinker and be a strong-minded person. So, it's never over until it says 0 to me. So,
what's it like to win one in front of the hometown?
It's great. It was awesome, man. I wouldn't rather have it anywhere else. Jacksonville has the best fans probably in the world as far as arena football, man. And it's been a pleasure playing here this year, and it's been definitely loud. Opponents have had trouble coming here playing, so it's been great.
And that was Belazine at the end of the game there. Mark, we were we were watching this game live, and that interception that was returned for a touchdown. Not only was it a huge play, obviously, because it set up the go ahead onside kick and touchdown the following possessions or whatever, but man, that play was incredible, wasn't it, man? Like that was just a great play that it deserves all the attention in the world.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was an amazing play. That's the kind of thing that wins you a championship game, like it ended up doing. They needed plays after that, but that gets the entire team going. You got you're at home, so that gets your entire fans going. I mean, it was amazing. It had me going, and I'm, it's not even my team, but I was excited.
I felt the same way, man. I was actually just getting ready to say that. I didn't really have a dog in the fight in this NAL championship game. I was, unbiasedly rooting for Massachusetts this year to get there. But that play, man, I'm pretty sure I probably could have woken up the entire household. RJ, I know that you had predicted Carolina or wanted Carolina here.
It was a prediction. Let's get that clear.
Well, yeah, but how did you feel? I mean, did you have the same type of excitement based on how great that play was, or were you just more a little bit deflated because you wanted your prediction to come true?
Sometimes I hate you, honestly. But no. To keep it real, I was more in shock just by everything because as much it was an amazing job by Jacksonville, it was also some of Carolina coming apart at the seams, and I was just happy to see an amazing game because, well, let's face it, compare that championship game to the championship game from the year before between the Lions and Cobras. Well, I think we all know which one we'd be watching right now if we had our choice, and that's the one we saw the other night. And I was just happy to see an amazing game, amazing crowd turnout in Jacksonville, over 8,000 packed in the arena. The Sharks fans are definitely a very passionate fan base, and they've been passionate since the Sharks joined the AFL for the first time, and they have not let up. So, good on them for putting the noise in the place, making it harder for the Cobras, and, all the praise in the world to the Sharks for getting this one out.
Yeah, and obviously I mentioned it, the onside kick after that was recovered. There was some review that was held there. Did the ball get touched? Did it go 10 yards? It was absolutely the right call where the plates stand. I know that there was a little bit of a discussion, amongst us, RJ, that whether or not that was the right call or not. But I honestly think across the board that it was, for me personally. I don't know. I mean, Mark, what did you think? Did you think that was the right call to let the play stand after the review?
I think it was. I don't think you had enough evidence to overturn something like that. So what was called on the field is what they should go with, and that's what they did. There was just not enough for it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, AFN Talks, Bryce Burge also caught up with the NAL Championship MVP, Chris Gilchrist, after the game, and this is what Chris had to say.
So MVP, how does it feel?
It's amazing. We've been through a lot this season as a team, and just to endure and just keep going and fighting and to overcome and win this game just means a lot as far as just having faith, no fear.
When this game started getting a little bit out of hand, you guys came back pretty quickly. What kind of really sparked that for you?
Nothing really sparked for me. We just stuck to the script and just kept doing what we're doing. And, the tables turn. Football's a long game, especially arena football. When we had 1 minute left on the clock, I knew we had an eternity left, and that's an eternity in arena football.
So you go out there, you have a good game. You've won this now in front of your hometown crowd. What does it feel like to be a champion here in Jacksonville?
It's my first ever professional championship, and I feel at all like I'm lost for words. I really just want to get home and lay down. I'm about to cramp up out here.
All right, we'll let you go. Congratulations.
I mean, I guess that pretty much just sums up the marathon of what that game was. I mean, really, there was a lot of emotion behind that, especially at the end there. Jacksonville making the comeback and whatnot. RJ, Chris Gilchrist, the correct choice for the MVP of this championship game, you think? Or do you think it should have gone to someone else?
Without a doubt in my mind, that was the correct choice. I mean, he had to fill in for Cody Saul, who was a star in his own respect, but to come in, play Ironman football at that position, at that level, score 2 touchdowns, you can't ask for a better performance. And again, he was not supposed to be a starter, so, we got to give him all the praise in the world for that. And that's one that's going to go in the history books as a all-time, short-nosed performance.
Yeah, I agree, and Mark, we've watched a lot of football over the years, and we've seen a lot of games where people stand out in certain places or get called upon due to injury or whatever. This Gilchrist performance, man, was highly man, I don't even know what the word was. It was highly impressive, I guess, considering RJ said with the Cody Saul suspension. This Jacksonville team overcame a lot of adversity, and to see them gel this way, I think this pretty much just cements that they were clear-cut the best team all year.
Oh, they definitely were. But, I mean, you have to look at a blocked field goal. Let me say that again. In an indoor league, they blocked a field goal.
That's not common.
No. And is what turned this whole game around for them. They don't do that. This could be a blowout. They're down 14-0 at that point, and they blocked a field goal in an indoor league. It blows my mind Like, when I saw it, I was like, wait, did I just see that? Did I just see them block a field goal?
No, that's right.
The kicker is making field goals on kickoffs, but they blocked the field goal.
Yeah, no, that was impressive, and I think the biggest thing that can go that's not being I guess not getting enough attention here is the Jacksonville Sharks had 3 defensive or special team touchdowns in this game. And my arena football and indoor football experience, usually when you score that many defensive touchdowns, it's a dominant performance, but that wasn't the case here. Carolina, that defense just kind of sort of let this game slip away towards the end there, as RJ mentioned, and I think that this is something that can't be understated enough and proves once again that football on every level, whether it's indoor, CFL, NFL, XFL, there's 3 phases to the game that are super important and can really determine the outcome of a game, and we saw it in this championship game without a doubt. RJ, do you have anything else that you want to say about this game? Anything in particular that we haven't discussed on that you want to talk as far as the storyline is concerned with this game?
No, I think we covered all the basics. And if you haven't seen the end of the game, go to the YouTube stream, watch the last few minutes of it. Watch the whole thing if you have time, but if you can't, just watch the last few minutes. It's truly a roller coaster.
Yeah, and we have a caller calling in from Ohio here. I'm not sure exactly where I missed it, but hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. What is your name, sir?
Bob.
Hi, Bob. How are you today?
Hi.
Michael Washington Weeks here.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good. Hey, do you have any thoughts or comments on this NAL championship game?
You was talking about the play after the review there, where was it the one where he had caught the ball and they let it stand because they couldn't determine where it was, right?
It was the onside kick after the defensive touchdown.
Well, both of them. They was both a little touchy. But Jordan Jolly, he really stood out. He's a really good wide receiver, but he ain't such a good quarterback. And then, like the Cobras, you knew they were destined to lose this game no matter what, because when they started the game, they drove that ball down. They got the penalty there, and it took the ball downfield, and then they just lost all the momentum they had and ended up right back where they started from.
Yeah. Carolina had some issues on offense there. And I think that's the greatness of what that Jacksonville defense was.
Yeah,
Bob. So
yeah, them Cobras, they went into the Shark Tank there in Jacksonville just to become chum. Isn't that sad? Sad.
I agree, Bob. Thank you for your call, man.
Thank you for talking to me, guys. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Anytime. Thank you, Bob. Have a good one. And that was Bob from Ohio giving us a call about his thoughts on the game, the NAL championship. 310-876-8064. That is the number. Just like Bob just did, he gave us a call. You can do the same thing at AFN Talk across all social media, afntalk.com, afnn.net as well. We are presented tonight by primetimesportstalk.com. And we are going to go and have a quick break. And when we come after the break, we have more indoor football news for you.
And we are back on AFN Live. We got a special guest with us tonight, owner of the West Virginia Rough Riders, Greg Fornario. Greg, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Great to have you here, Greg. Great to have you. Now, you got out of the AAL this year, and you have some things to say about them. What are those things? You made a Facebook statement, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, so, this is how I truly feel about arena football in general and then the AAL itself. I understand that we are, when you're trying to get ownerships, it's very hard to find, let's say, multi-millionaires, even billionaires, to come on board and own an arena football team. Okay? You got that in the AFL. God bless them. And that's why it's a, very organized league, where everything goes the way they tell you it's going to go. Okay? When you get down to, say, the Arena 2, so to speak, it's a thin line of good ownerships. But where the league has to come in as an owner of a league, a commissioner of the league, he can't sell you a dream. He can't sell you anything but what he's trying to sell you, and that is the key word of professional arena football. Because we all have many, many choices to go and put a semi-pro team in anywhere we want. There's pretty much two in every city, right? So when you're selling the key word of professional, this is a professional football league. It can't be for some and not others. And the minute that takes place is the minute that you were failed by the commissioner and by the league, and it's very, very, very expensive to play in these leagues, and it's just wrong. As you know, I tried to start my own league last season, and during my time of talking to different teams and teams that were hitting me up, I realized that there really wasn't that many great ownerships, especially in the short period of time that I was trying to put this league together, that I wasn't going to be able to do it because I wouldn't want to lie or to sell someone a dream. You know, if I had a good team coming in and they did everything the right way, and then I have other teams came in that didn't do it the right way. So that's why I didn't start my own league and then went back to the AAL, saying to myself, it's their third year. There's no way that they can't do it the right way. And Jack Bowman, rest in peace, was a friend of mine and a guy who'd been around for years. The problem with Jack was he wasn't the main voice. He was just a voice of reason. So it wasn't Jack's way ever. It was Jack giving input. It was always going to be Tony's way. And Tony's way turned out to be he liked just to do things a certain way that didn't make sense financially for the other teams in the league that were doing it right. So let me just put it out there for you. I believe at one time they stated there was 14 teams in the league.
Yeah, something like that. Something over 10.
Yeah. Out of those 14 teams, okay, I understand that it might have been, and it's not might, this is probably official, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 to 4 teams that paid their players. I know West Michigan did. I know we did. I know Cape Fear did. And I know Havoc did and I know Jersey did. Now, yes, there was players that came out on the forum saying they still owed money. That happens at times. People are still owed money. But I'm saying strictly paid. The other teams never even reached in their pocket to ever pay a guy week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. It's one thing to say, you know, hey, I played 9 games and I was paid for 8. Okay, that's not right either, but I'm telling you that there are teams that played 10 games and didn't pay their players one time. And that's because they never had intentions to, and the league allowed that. Now, my biggest problem with that is that means you 100% didn't have workman's comp. It means you did not have medical. That means if your player would have got hurt, then what?
Right.
So, yeah.
So, Greg, for those who are not aware, what is the average pay for a player throughout an AAL season?
So last season, or should I say the season before, the 2018 season, I brought up that we needed to raise the salary cap to $4,500, and that is per game for up to 21 players total. But then I also came up with we can pay any player as much as we want, as long as all 21 players are getting paid a minimum of $50 a piece. If you had to, meaning like, you paid your quarterback $750, you need to now get players to come in for pennies, right? So with that being said, and the league approved that, the average guy, though, is getting paid like $200, $250.
And that's not a lot of money at all.
It's not a lot of money at all. And here's how I always did things. I could never ask a guy who, let's say, lived in Texas and has a family, or it doesn't even matter what he has going on at home. I couldn't ask a guy to move from Texas to, say, West Virginia for 4 months for $200. Okay? The guys who you do put in for that kind of money, for me anyway, that it worked out for me, was guys who are definitely local, who can also work their 9 to 5, and who can also be with family and friends and live at home. Now, here's the catch. Don't get me wrong. If the guy's really, really good compared to just because he lives local doesn't mean he's just going to get that dollar amount. What I meant to say, what I mean by that is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's pretty much your backups. They have no business making the same amount of money as your wide receiver doing 30 touchdowns or your quarterback. So I try to make it work with the math, and I try to pay 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 less money, but I on purposely make sure that they're local.
Yeah, it sounds like what you really value is time with family, time at home, all that stuff, because, like you said, this isn't a full-time job. I mean, $200, you can't live off that for a year at all.
Yeah.
And I really value that because, it gives a relatability level between us and the players for the fans because, well, I think is great, 1 minute you're watching them on the gridiron, 5 months later, you can have, you had Noel Devine there. I could picture, Noel Devine coming up to me or, someone big name like that in your area saying, would you like to buy a car? And, you could talk about it, and it's not really good for the players to relate to the fans. It's good for the local businesses, and it's a great camaraderie feel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So with that being said, you're talking a couple $100 is what they may give or take. Okay. So what I wasn't happy with the league was I signed up to play professional football, and I want to do it right. I want to do it correct. I didn't want to cut no corners. Let's play professional football. And so from the gate, it's a league fee. Okay? In the AAL last year, the league fee was $5,000. Okay?
Yeah, before you go on, I want to give some context to what that is compared to other leagues. The Arena Football League, $250,000. National Arena League, $100,000. IFL, I believe, has lowered it.
Yeah. I don't know I know the AFL. Did you say AFL was $250,000?
Yes.
No. It's $2 million.
Wait, $2 million? I thought. Oh wow, that must have been old.
Yeah. No. There's only four to 6 teams for a reason.
Okay, that explains a lot because I was like, why don't you just double up the NAL team? Okay, thank you for clarifying.
No, it's $2 million franchise fee, and they don't want nobody else in. That's why two owners own 3 teams. I mean, when you're a billionaire and own the Wizards and the Capitals, you don't even need anybody to come in. So it's I think he owned Baltimore. So it's $2 million in that league. Okay, and that's different. That's a different kind of league. Other than that, NAL's. I don't know exactly.
I think it's $100K.
$100K is expensive. IFL, I was told, give or take 15,000 to 20,000. There have been many leagues that came and gone that were under 5K, around 5K. So 5K sounded pretty pretty affordable. Now remember for everyone listening at home, it ain't about, oh, I got $5K, I can own an arena football team. You still got to come out of your pocket somewhere close to $250,000. When you pay your players, pay your rent, pay your housing, pay your workman's comp, pay your travel, pay for food, pay your advertising, pay your front office staff, and then if you win a championship, pay for rings. It's very expensive.
Yeah, I think that's something that the fans overlook because, I think we all have wanted to own our own football team in a certain league at a certain time in our lives. A running joke we have in our group is that, I'll ask, hey, guys, let's start up a team. Bryce will tell me he's got $3. Jose will say something like he's got 5, But in all seriousness, one thing that an expense that I find very interesting personally is the turf. You got the old LA Kiss turf. How much did that cost you to buy from LA and then ship over to Richmond?
Okay, so when I found the turf, it was located in a storage unit in Texas.
How did it end up there?
There because they actually were pretty smart. When they decided they were folding, they said, let's go to Texas with it so it would be in the middle of everybody because if they ever sold that, they were like the only West Coast team. So they were not going to be able to know. So when someone was going to buy that turf, they felt Texas was in the middle of everything rather than LA. So this is regardless, I bought that turf for $50,000. And then I had to get it shipped. Well, shipping that from Texas had to go on 2 trucks and flatbed, and that was expensive. That cost me $8,500. So over said and done, it's about $60,000 for that turf to get it to Richmond, Virginia.
And then you bought new end zones.
Yes, because the end zones that came with it obviously was KISS, and it was completely covered in
flames. It was flamed. Yeah. Which looks really good. Logo. It looks really good, though, I gotta say.
If you put a sticker over top of the turf, it's slippery. So for you to have a sticker in your whole entire end zone would not have been safe. You can have sticker on your field, little logos or sponsorships, it says Goodyear or something. But they're so small, they're not even a yard, right? 2 yards, whatever. So this was not going to work out. So I ended up buying my own end zones. So I bought end zones for another $12,000. So I got somewhere around $75,000 wrapped up in that turf. It's amazing turf. It was like $200,000 brand new. So we're excited about that turf. And it's going to last me, my duration. So, but back to where I was stating, I ended up paying a league fee, which was $5,000. And then to find out that other teams did not pay at all or only paid $2,000 or $3,000. And myself and maybe another team only paid $5,000. But I know for a fact there was teams that didn't pay that at all. And when you find this out, it's like, why did I have to pay that? Why am I the only professional team that, am I the only one playing professional football? Then I was told I had to come up with $5,100 security deposit. I wasn't happy about that. And I said, when am I getting this back? We have a contract written up that says August 1st. Jack, who was still alive at the time, really good friend of mine, he said, Greg, hey, this will come right back to you at the end of the season. I said, you know what? I'm fine with that. And I love the fact that I'm thinking that every team's paying $5,000 plus a $5,100 security deposit. Well, joke on me. No other team was even approached that they had to pay a security deposit. Not even approached. And then on top of it, August 1st came and gone. I didn't receive my money back. And if Jack Bowman was alive, I would have got my money back. I can guarantee you that. Money gone. So, that's me paying $5,000 paying the league when other teams have not or didn't pay in full. Then $5,100 for a security deposit, which you stole. And no rhyme or reason, just ain't coming back. So then During the season, when we saw our schedule, we had to go play New England, which was 13 hours away. A coach bus was going to be $7,100. I found airfare through JetBlue that was going to cost me $5,800. That's a no-brainer, right? You're going to take a JetBlue airline for $58 rather than the coach bus,
Right.
and to get the flight at a decent price, you had to purchase this early. So I hit the league up, and I said, "Hey guys, I'm hearing rumors about. I hear nothing but bad rumors about New England Bobcats. Is there? I don't want to pay for this airfare and get stuck. Oh no, don't be crazy. She has this going on, that going on, this going on. They're going to be there. You're good." I said, "You sure?" "Absolutely." So I had like another 2 weeks until I had to make my final payment. And I called the guys up again and said, "Hey, man, I'm hearing some real ugly stuff. I'm hearing some really bad stuff from the coach, from this, from this." They said, "No, you're good." And I said, "Well, what if I don't go? Because I don't feel like I don't feel secure. If you don't go, it's a forfeit." I'm like, "Who's going to pay for this if she folds?" And Tony said to me was, "They're not going to fold. I'm telling you, they're good." He says, "Why don't you get a bus?" I said, "Because it's more money, and plus I would never put my guys on a bus for 13 hours ever." Okay? So this professional football, I got a professional schedule. I got to handle it the professional way, and that is go buy my airfare. So I bought my airfare, and wouldn't you know, the Tuesday before we're traveling on Friday, I get a phone call. I won't say the player's name, but I got a phone call from a player from New England. He says, "Greg, because I respect you, I'm reaching out to you. I'm letting you know right now that we had a team meeting, players only, and we decided we are not playing this weekend's game against you guys, and we're not telling the owner. We were just not going to show up so she thinks there's a game and she has to rent the facility and so on and so forth." I said, "Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Why?" He goes, "Greg, if it was one game of not being paid, we would suck it up for you because we would love to play against the Rough Riders." He goes, "We have not been paid at all this season, and we're on week 5. Now, on week 3, they played us at our place. The player says, 'Do you know?' And there was no bus, no vans, no nothing. All the players took a 13-hour ride by themselves individually to get down here. If they drove, one guy took a plane on his own dime. The other guy drove. They all chipped in gas, hotels, everything. They never even got paid, or they didn't even get taken care of for that travel. This is what this guy was telling me. I'm like, "Oh my God, is that ugly?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Greg, don't go. I'm telling you, if you get there, it's gonna be no game." I call up Tony. I'm freaking out now because here's my $5,800 that I lost out on that I knew was going to happen. He says, "Let me call and find out what's going on." Calls me back and says, "She says she can gather players if you really, really, really wanted to play." I said, "Gather players? Like random guys off the street?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, New England Bobcats is not that good as is. Now you're going to tell me you're going to take the B team? No. And I said, "I don't trust it."
It's a good way to get your players hurt, too. Sorry, Greg, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. So I was like, "I don't trust it. I don't trust it." And then he goes, "Yeah, I wouldn't either." And then he called me back and says, "You know what? There's not even a possibility for a B team. There's just nobody. It's not going to happen, blah, 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 blah." Tony looked at it as, "You're saving money because I'm not playing," meaning I didn't have to pay my players, didn't have to pay my coaches, didn't have to pay for hotel, and that's not how I look at things. Okay, if you went and you saw a car that you liked on Monday and you put a $3,000 deposit on it, and the car was $6,000, and they told you to come back Wednesday to buy it, and you come back Wednesday with the other $3,000, and the whole entire car is gone, as well as the car dealership, and you got scammed out of $3,000, you're not saying to yourself, "Well, at least I saved $3,000.
Right, you're saying I lost money.
I lost money. It probably would have cost me another $7,000 to play, but that's fine because that's what I wrote up already. So now I paid $6 not to play. That's not right.
Well, right, and you $5,800 for the airplane, plus the $7K that you would have had if you had played up there. That's $12K that you could have saved by just not purchasing the airfare to begin with. So you didn't save money; you lost money for sure. I don't know what kind of philosophy that is.
Yes, I lost money, and that's how he looked at it. And then he looked the other way, and I contacted him multiple times, like, who's going to take care of this? Going to take care of this? MIA would never get back to me. Nothing. So then it gets worse. You would think, knowing that a team in your league went through this, that you're going to try to favor them or take care of them somehow, one way or another. Wrong.
Right.
May 16th, 1 week after this incident, he puts an email out to the potential playoff teams: Cape Fear, Energy, Havoc down south, and then me, Jersey, and West Michigan. And it says, playoffs are going to be starting in 2 weeks, and the championship game will be played in a South arena. I was with him for now 3 years. Okay? It's not how he did things the last 2 years. 1 seed, host championship. In all professional sports, the 1 seed, host championship, unless noted before you sign up to play or pay the money. Because if you would have told me before I pay the money, before I sign up to play, no matter what you do, no matter what your record is, you can't host championship, I don't think myself or anybody would have joined up for that. So, and you can't switch it and make your rules up as you go, but I don't care what anybody says, he was the Energy. He was Carolina Energy. He and Bryson are Carolina Energy. I'll make that loud and clear. He is something financially with Carolina Energy, and we just all can't put it together, but I'm not the only one that thought that. Everyone kind of figured that out along the way. And he was making all these favorable moves to make sure that the Carolina Energy didn't have to do things. I mean, he saw them kind of like 4-0, 5-0, whatever it might be. He's like, oh, hell, we can host it here. We can host it here. And that's how he brought that up, because he knew he wasn't going to be a 1 seed with me. So I let that kind of go. I just want to worry about us getting to the championship first, because we knew West Michigan was going to be a hard battle, so I didn't want to cry over all that numbers yet. Then obviously when we were announced to go to the championship, and so was the Energy, I said, the game should be played at my place. Then I start arguing and bitching and stuff like that. They said, no, it's going to be playing in Charlotte. This whole time, as we're going back and forth, and I had some sources check into this, they had no arena for a championship game.
Because the Checkers were making their playoff run.
Because the Checkers made the playoff.
Yeah.
Not just for that reason, but as many financial reasons of them kind of getting kicked out kind of the arena kind of thing. They were not allowed to come back there. So I did not know this at the time. And I'm like, I want this game at my spot. And they're like, well, what are you going to do for us? And
oh, brother.
I would say, well, hold on a second. What if I just went to your place? What are you going to do for me? Nothing. We don't have to do nothing because the game's supposed to be in here. So if it's in Charlotte, you just have to come like you would come. Pay your players, pay your coaches, pay your meals, pay your hotel, and pay your coach bus. But if you can't play with me, they wanted all that taken care of. So I'm like, this ain't right. At this time, we have no time to argue over this. I had to give the barn away. So how we did it, though, was, and I got fooled. They said, well, I got to pay for a coach bus. That's about $6K. Okay, that's $6K. Well, the Carolina Energy didn't have a coach bus. Half the team came up separately, and they have a church van that was like given to them. So when you hit me up and say I owe you $6,000 for a coach bus and don't come in a coach bus, that's smack in your face. So then we wanted, that was one agreed. Then we wanted 15 rooms for 2 nights. That's 30 rooms total. It's not cheap. Okay? That comes to around $2,000. Then they wanted another $6,000 for taking care of players' salaries and coaches. We found out.
Wait. They wanted you to pay for their salary?
And
for their team?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, so they got a total of $12,000 and then paying for the hotel, which cost me $2,000, so that's $14,000. And then they wanted to get percentage off tickets if it reached a certain amount of money. So, make a long story short, I have some players on my team that are friends with their players, and according to their players, they didn't get $1 for playing in the championship game.
Oh, wow.
So, where did the money go that you told me to, that you strong armed me for? They didn't go for a coach bus, didn't go for paying your coaches, didn't go for paying players. So where'd it go? Well, I'll tell you where it went. Half went to Tony, half went to Bryson. There you go. Because Tony was involved in negotiations. Why? It's not your team. Why are you involved? The year before that, Richmond Rough Riders hosted a championship game against the Havoc. He wasn't involved in no negotiations or talking about buying a guy a hotel or nothing. This year you're involved. So I got strong-armed and had to give up pretty much $15,000 out of the gate. So, and then here you go. The season's over. So for me to come back and play in that league after I was bullied over $31,000 would be pretty. Yeah, 31, 15 for the game. Yeah,
that was
$31,000, and the problem is, I want everybody to know is, I'm getting an attorney on it. We're going to sue them and so on and so forth. But I need people to know that don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. It is not, especially with Jack not there, it is now not going to be what he says, what he's telling you it's going to be. And here's a little birdie told me. There was a conference call with Tony and Bryson and a bunch of other people that are trying to get into the league. And they were talking about league fee money. And the league fee now is going to be cheaper. It's like they said it's going to be $2,000 for new teams, $1,500 for new existing teams. And one guy said, "Where does this money go to?" I'm just curious. Or, where did money go to last year? Something like this. Regardless, they said right out of Tony's mouth was he paid for the championship game last year, this past season in Wheeling.
Oh.
And really, I paid $15,000 and half of it probably went in your pocket. So there's a lot of bullshit going on there. And if Tony wanted to be part of the energy, that's fine if he would have told us at the beginning of the season, because, just like the NAL, the ownerships, of the NAL, I think owned Jacksonville and he still owned the league, right? Gucci at the time, right? It has had interest. So it's fine. It's fine if you're going to do this and state this.
Just be transparent.
People don't know this either. AAL had a board. You know who was on the board?
Who?
Irving Bryson and Tim Freeman. Two guys that did nothing right. They're on the board. Hey, Tim, so-and-so's not paying their players. You're the board. What do you want to do? I'll ask Bryson. We're not paying ours either. Like, that was the board.
Oh, man.
Greg, I got to ask you, speaking of expansion fees, and you've addressed this before, but I just want to have you say it again for all the new listeners. Everybody wants you to join the NAL. You have your reasoning. Now, what's that decision so we can finally end all rumors?
Yes, I have nothing bad to say about the NAL. What I mean by that is, ownership's good, right? The competition's great. The coaches that are in this league are great, so on and so forth. But to me, it doesn't make sense. My main concern, everybody's like, okay, it's $100K to play. Well, that's steep. You got to sign a 3-year deal. I would, that can be rearranged. The only thing that would kill me is they play all summer long. They just got done, and now school starts Monday. So
right.
People don't understand is me as an owner. I'm an owner and I'm a GM. I'm on the phone until 1:00 in the morning every night with my head coach. I'm in every game. I don't miss a game. I cannot dedicate my whole summer to arena football. That's number one. I don't believe that sport should be played anytime after July 4th. Should not be played. Okay? And number two, I would take a bath. And so are these teams once summer hits. The competition you're going up against in every city is now bizarre. There's so many people that will not get season tickets knowing that they had to dedicate every other Saturday of their summer. Think about that. Everybody has plans. So they're not going to get season tickets if you have to play every other summer, every other weekend at home. They're not going to be there. They're not going to dedicate to that. I'm going camping. I'm going to the beach. I'm going here. I got a wedding to go to.
And you got a family, too. I mean, I want to make that known. You got a nice family as well.
I have a family. Oh, yeah, I got a family, got a beach house. Like I'm not playing arena football. You know what I mean? I believe it doesn't make sense to play in the summer. Here's the biggest thing about arena football. It's not in demand. Okay? So when a barbecue and a pool party is your competition, that's not good. Okay? So I live in Philadelphia, right outskirts of Philadelphia. I'm on the outskirts. They say a ton of things. The sports writers say that Philadelphia is one of the best sports towns, right? How passionate they are for their sports. No one knew that the Soul was in the championship game, or they cared. No, nobody. I got neighbors that are like Flyers, Sixers, Eagles, even Phillies. And I'm like, your boys are in the championship. Who, what, when, what? Oh, really? I didn't even know. Like, it's just not. It's a sport that's because it's in a big city. But like, it's also summertime, man. It's no one cares. It's just not. It has to be over earlier than that, and that's my opinion. I tell you what, I really think would work good for arena football. I would have to start my own league to make it happen. I think fall into early winter would kill it. In the cities that the NFL are not in. Meaning, let's say Richmond, for example. Richmond's 2 hours from the NFL team. So they don't have the NFL team. So Saturday night, they will be pumped to go to an arena football game. It's football time. We all know that once Labor Day hits, we're all excited about football. High school football, if that's what your town's about. An NFL and college. But let's just look at this point. It gets dark in October at 6 o'clock?
Yep.
Four.
What are you doing? Yes. So now on a Saturday night, 7 p.m., your competitions of anything else is gone. Minor League Baseball, not there. Festivals, not there. Barbecue pool party, not there. Food festivals, not there. Amusement parks, not there. Beach, not there. The list goes on.
Right.
These
and Greg,
games will be,
yeah. And Greg, I really do like that opinion. And we got to hit a quick break, but we're going to talk about the possible return of the AIF later. And if you want to stay on for that, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'll stay on. Yep.
All right, we'll be back on AFN Live right after this.
Welcome back. You heard from the Witch Guy. That's the conference call. 310-876-8064 at AFN Talk across all social media, afntalk.com, afn.net. We are brought to you tonight by primetimesportstalk.com. And we were here before the break with Greg Fenario, the owner of the West Virginia Rough Riders, 2019 AAL champions. By the way, congratulations on that, Greg. I believe that's back-to-back championships, correct?
Thanks a lot. Back-to-back? No, it wasn't. It's not back-to-back. It was. Is that what you said? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, was it back-to-back? Did you win 2 in a row or no?
No, unfortunately, we didn't. We won in 2017. We lost a championship in 18, and then we won in 19.
Oh, okay. So congratulations on making 3 championships in a row and winning 2 of those. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Nice recovery, Michael. Nice recovery.
Yeah, you like that? Meatloaf said that. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Before the break, Greg, you were talking a little bit about a lot of the issues that you were having with the AAL. One of the things that has been, I guess, been gaining steam over the course of the last month or so is the AIF is apparently making a comeback. Is there any... I'm trying to find the correct way to word this. Is there any connection or any future possible for West Virginia, for you to bring West Virginia to the AIF to kind of be there for the rebirth of this league?
So one of the guys running the AIF is actually a friend of mine. He was going to Larry Clark. If you guys remember, it was really short-lived, but when I was starting my own league, I was going to put another team in the league called the Marion Mambas.
Which was a great name. I really loved that design for the helmet, by the way.
Marion Mambas, and Larry Clark just so happens lives in Marion and was going to be the GM of the Marion Mambas. So I have a relationship with him that way. But I just didn't want to, yet anyway, just run and join a league just because. It's still August, so to me, I have time. You know, like last year, I didn't even get into a league. I didn't even announce what league I was going into until I think December. So, I'm not waiting that long. I can tell you that right now. I'm hoping to I know which way I'm going by, let's say, the end of September. But AIF, if Larry is part of it, I think it would be ran correctly. But I just need to sit back and see what they have in store and who they're talking to and who they're trying to bring in and so on and so forth. Because I don't have to play with all great veteran teams, but I definitely know a lot of the industry now, going in my 4th year, where I can tell you who shouldn't even be involved and who should be involved. So I just want to see what kind of way they might be going, and then I can see if I'm going to possibly go that route.
Yeah, no, for sure, and that's very smart of you as far as at least being a little pickier and choosier as to which league that you want to bring your team into, especially considering what happened with the AAL this past year. There's another league that has been formed, and they seem to be gaining a little bit of a social media presence in the Northern Arena Football League. Do you have you? Is that a league that's possibly on the table for you to join for next year if you decide to go in a different direction away from the more well-known leagues?
So this is the first time I heard anything about the Northern Arena Football League. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, well there it is. Short answer right there.
I saw the map outline. Yeah, I saw a map outline, Greg, and at northern states, West Virginia was right in there. I'm like, is Greg somehow involved in this?
No, I've never heard of that league yet. Do they have website and all that stuff, or they have teams involved, or?
Nothing as far as teams that I saw, but they do have a map as far as the states are concerned, and their website's up, right, RJ?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, their website's up. But other than that, I don't think they've announced anything as far as team or membership is concerned.
Because, not sure if you recall, but before we came out with the PAF, Professional Arena Football, we were actually short-lived as the NAF, Northern Arena Football. And when I was going to start a league called Northern Arena Football, but stay in the AAL. This is going to be like a little side project of mine. And then we decided to make it a bigger umbrella, and we changed it from the N to the P, so it's not labeled, and made it Professional Arena Football. So this is the first time I heard anybody even going after a league called Northern Arena Football League. But once again, I have been contacted by leagues, but not that one though. Really, the only league I've been in touch with so far has been AIF, NAL, IFL, and that's really just about it. So, and some people have some other ideas that they want to bring up to my attention and stuff like that. That I'm all ears for as well. That we had some talks about, but other than that, I don't know anything about that league.
Oh, you just said something right there that was interesting to me. That was the IFL contacting you. It's a little bit outside of their geographical footprint, but the IFL, I know that their rules and the way that they. I mean, I'm not really 100% sure as the AAL rules in terms of relation to the IFL rules, but they're a lot more mirrored after the indoor game. Would that be quite an adjustment for you if you were to jump to the IFL?
Yeah, so it's a game where we're not trying to get into, really, to be honest with you. I mean, for the fact is it's played differently. I would have my coaching staff would have to try to adjust and stuff like that, and some players, but it was just a short conversation on, who are you adding this year to your team? Does it make sense? And it doesn't. Like we were kind of looking to go there last year, more serious than we were this year, and it didn't make sense last year, and it doesn't make sense this year. I'm just saying though, after the season's over, you never know who is requiring about coming on board. So didn't know if they were going to try to extend. It would be something that I would bring up, or put on the table. So that is not going to happen either.
Okay, fair enough. That's probably a wise decision then. We know that shortly after you guys announced that you were leaving the AAL, the Cape Fear Heroes did the same as far as the AAL is concerned. Not that I expect you to dive in too much, but do you know anything about what their future might hold or where they might end up?
I don't. I talk to people over there, except the people, I talk to more of like coordinators and stuff. So I'm not talking to the main voice, and that is obviously Miss Barbara, been there for years. I believe her daughter. So, and I'm sure they aren't trying to, they're just one thing about them, which I respect, is they're simple. They just want it to be simple and play games and nothing crazy, nothing too, you'll never see them go into a league that you have to pay $100,000 for. That's not simple. They want it to be simple, and I respect that. And I would love to play in a league this year and next year and forever with a team like Cape Fear. So hopefully we can put something together and end up at the same spot.
Hopefully that'd be a lot of fun to watch and whatnot. RJ, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of a background here on the AAF as far as what you have for knowledge as to what the AAF is.
So the AIF was originally founded by the late Jack Bowman, one of Greg's good friends in the industry, and he really helped get that league to prominence. It started back in 2005. They lasted up to 2010. They then had a year merger with the Southern Indoor Football League, came back and lasted up through 2017, where they then disbanded. And the AIF has been an interesting league to look at history-wise because they've had a lot of teams come and go. But I felt like, and Greg, you have better insight on this than me, I felt like they were like the ceiling that the AAL could have been had everything been perfect.
Yeah, you broke up at the end there. What was the last part?
I felt the AAL when it was first founded that it could have been like maybe the new AIF level if it went to its full potential.
No, I do too. I'm going to be honest with you. The AAL 2018 was a hell of a league. There was a lot of competition, a lot of great players. I think the problem was they got a little. If they would have kept that smaller, I kept on telling this to Jack. I was like, Jack, make it smaller, and now you can do everything right. The competition's there, the ownership's there, and you just had a great successful season, and then you grow two teams, maybe two teams. They did, and that's another thing they did. They tried to get as big as possible. And then teams were falling off, right? And it kind of made us look bad. But the talent was there. Georgia Doom was great. Havoc was great. Rough Riders were great. Some really great ball players over at Cape Fear. Grizzlies played us tough. We beat them by 7. Both. That was Jersey. Jersey was good. They had Steve Pansiuk as quarterback. We only beat them by 7. Both times we played them. Grizzlies didn't have the best record, but they had good ball players. And they also played us tough. That's what it was about, man. It was just across the board. And, and it could have been. It could have been. It was right there to be the elite league, and then it just fell apart.
And with the AAF coming back, obviously this is going to put them probably more in direct competition with a league like the AAL, and with you being very public and adamant about what the issues that you dealt with, and Cape Fear leaving as well. What is the likelihood that the AAL may not be able to handle the competition level of the AIF if another team defects, or they end up putting together a good, solid, maybe 5 or 6 teams in this league?
So I see the way they're going right now. When I heard, and it's out there publicly, when we all heard that the league fee is going to be $1,500 for existing teams and $2,000 for new teams, that just told you right there that we are even lowering our standards even more. Everyone kind of always said, "Oh, the AAL is going to fold now. There's no, where's the Havoc? Where's Rough Riders? Where's the Doom? Where's Cape Fear?" It's Tony doesn't know how to operate a league that has great ownerships. He wants them to be the teams that are teams coming in being like, well, if, I think I can make this work. I need to do this. Is it all right if I play in an arena that holds 800 people? Of course. Give me 2,000. You know what I mean? It's I don't have my jerseys. That's not a problem. Just play ball. There'll always be teams that are looking to play professional football that cannot play professional football. And that's where Tony comes in. That's where the league comes in on what kind of teams they want. They're going to go after the teams that should not be playing professional football, but are guys who want to give it a try. And then when he lowered that number to 1,500, 2,000, absolutely. You know how many more people come out for that? That's like saying, I'll use a good team. That's like saying you're going to have open tryouts for $75. You're going to get X amount of people. or you're going to have open tryouts for free. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to come try out that are just terrible, terrible ball players.
Yeah, I think with the AAL lowering the price tag, I do want to announce my own team now. I'm calling them the RJ Ciancio Renegades.
Oh my God.
A guy can dream. A guy can dream. A guy can dream. Okay. One day I'll make it work. I'll make it work one day.
You're gonna have your name as the location?
No.
The RJ Ciancio Renegades? Really?
No.
But here's the catch, RJ, real quick. There's no problem with there. I always believe there's a level for everyone. That's why it bothers me so much when these teams come into a professional football league like the AAL and know they bit too much, they bit off too much they can chew. They know it. And you're ruining a good thing. They stick to your level. I'll tell you right now, the Bobcats, didn't they win the EIF? They won the EIF. You're in a league. You won the league. So wherever town you were playing in New Hampshire or New England or wherever it was, you did good by them. Okay, well, why come into another league that's going to cost you big money that you don't have? And you're not going to pay your players. Stick to semi-pro. Another guy tried to do that. Reggie Ship, Coach Ship with the Capital Reapers. He was like 14-0, crushed the minor league level. I mean, not minor league level, the semi-pro level, crushed it. I mean, crushing these teams. And then he's like, why would you not go back? That's the level your team's on. We all need that level. Semi-pro is needed. Just like Pop Warner football is needed. Every level is needed. So why, as an owner, would you go there if you can't afford it? And then these teams do that, and they ruin it. They ruin the sport itself, because this is going back to like 20 years now of just this arena football is a big mess because of these guys who bite off more than they can chew.
I got one question with you before we get ready to start wrapping this up, Greg. With the AFL's TV contract with ESPN, and the fact that they did a very good job of promoting this AFL championship game, and seeing the turnout there and the turnout in Jacksonville as far as the fan base is concerned, do you think that indoor or arena / football in general is trending in the right direction, that maybe we can start weeding out some of these, kind of like black eyes, quote unquote, on the sport?
I don't, because if you really think about it, okay, Arizona Rattlers, Iowa Barnstormers, Jacksonville Sharks are not counting the AFL. Those three teams I just mentioned to you do really, 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 really well in attendance.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I'm talking like 7,000 to 12,000 people a game.
Yep.
Especially in Arizona. Okay?
Especially in Arizona, yeah.
But what do all three of them have in common? RJ, you know what they have in common?
They were all in the AFL to begin.
Yep.
Yes. So they were all an AFL team at one time. So their town that they're in got that AFL exposure. So, like, for instance, I was in Richmond for 2 years. Before me was a team there for 6 years. I think they were called the Raiders. I seen their numbers and I seen my numbers. We both hit the same. Brick wall. 1,500 people a game. I couldn't do no more than that. They couldn't do no more than that. That is what's going to watch arena football in Richmond, 1,500. But if the AFL dropped the bomb and said we are putting an AFL team in Richmond, Virginia, boom, 7,000 people come to that game. Because they have so much money to let everybody who lives under the rock know that they're coming, and they're coming correct. 7,000 people come to that game. Now, if all of a sudden they have a team that's there, and they're there for a few years, and they just decide to leave leagues, Some people don't even know that you left and went to another league because people don't care enough to know. And Arizona, Iowa, and Jacksonville didn't miss a beat by going to a different league. If anything, they saved a ton of money and are now probably making a killing because of that. But every other team, you're going to get a couple thousand people if you're good, and then as you've seen some really shit shows that are under 500 people. So to answer your question, I don't see it coming on strong. I see the AFL coming on strong, and that is they're going to add 2 more teams, Cleveland being one, and I'm hearing Pittsburgh being the second. If that's the case, that's 8 teams. So they're going back to where they were in the 90s. So I think they're going to put arena football back on the map, which can help our level leagues. But I still think it's a long time coming.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've just noticed in myself personally, it feels like the trend is kind of like getting there. The IFL, seems to be gaining a little more exposure. I think YouTube is a great tool. I think a lot of these leagues would be, smart to try to invest a little money into some kind of, YouTube streaming service of sorts. I know that costs a lot of money, but that's a different story for a different day. Greg, before we head off here, thank you for being on the show. First of all, it's been a pleasure to listen to you as far as everything that you're going through, and we really appreciate you taking the time out and spending it with us. We would like to ask you a favor. When you get ready to announce which league West Virginia is going to join, would you be willing to come on and do it live here on the show? Could we entice you to do that? Yeah. And that'd be great. I would.
Yeah, we could definitely do that, and I'll be thrilled to do that.
Yeah, we would love to have you on, and I think that would be fantastic to be able to have you on and announce it live to us and the fans here that are listening to us. Which league you plan on joining a little bit later on in the year.
That'd be great. I appreciate that.
Thank you again. That was Greg Fenario of the West Virginia Rough Riders. We're going to take another quick break here. 310-876-8064, afntalk.com, afn.net, at AFN Talk across all social media. Greg, thank you very much for coming on, and we appreciate you, and good luck with everything that's happening with your pursuit with the AAL.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Welcome back from break. This is Michael Washington Weeks. We are AFN Live, brought to you by PrimetimeSportsTalk.com. AFN Live, at AFN Talk across all social media platforms, AFNTalk.com, at AFN.net. So, essentially, basically the last 4 days, the XFL has been dropping enlarged or zoomed in versions of the logos, which also revealed the color schemes of their 8 franchises. It's just a small little snippet, and they've been doing this 2 at a time. Today, the last 2 were revealed, and now they are announced that there will be a live press conference revealing the team names for each city, which each logo went to. 12:30 p.m. on ESPN, Fox Sports, their website. RJ, I know that we kind of sprung this a little bit on you as far as the XFL was concerned. We found a picture of the 8, I guess, zoomed in logos, and I want to get a little speculation here as to what we think these logos are going to be. RJ, let's start with you here. Out of the 8 that you look at, what could you possibly see out of these logos with these color schemes here? Do you have any guesses as to what some of these names could be?
All right, so the red, white, and blue scheme I think would have to be DC. I think that's a pretty safe bet for me.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. I think the red, white, and blue would be a DC, but Mark,
like Revolution, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking Liberty, but I know that Liberty is a New York Liberty WNBA team, so I'm not sure they would go that route. But I mean, I know Mark brought up a good point earlier, though, that St. Louis tends to use red, blue, and white in a lot of their color schemes outside of the Rams for the most part. Could that be a St. Louis possibly?
Well, and plus, so I don't know if it's the XFL color scheme also that plays into this, but for their meet and greet that they're doing tomorrow, all of their promotions are red, white, and blue. Their team president's Twitter logo is red, white, and blue. So there's speculation that could that be their colors. I still think it's DC, just because red, white, and blue just goes with DC.
Yeah, I think it's DC as well. Go ahead,
okay.
RJ.
All right, so we're in agreement on that one. I think the Tampa Bay one is the Brooklyn Lightning Bolt, I feel.
The lightning bolt, really? Why do you think it's the lightning bolt?
I mean, let's look past the Tampa Bay Storm in the Arena Football League. They have the Tampa Tornadoes looking to join the AAL. They got there's a storm theme down there in general, and they also have the Tampa Bay Lightning. So it's not going to be lightning exactly, but I can see a Tampa Bay Thunder maybe going on down there. Also, red is a very prominent CFL color. It's a very CFL based team. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's interesting on that front. Let's see. I had St. Louis actually as the red and white one there. Personally, as the lightning bolt for that one. I kind of drew that conclusion based off the Cardinals colors.
Oh, okay.
I mean, again, we don't know. We could be way off on these color scheme things, but what did you have down there, Mark? What was your?
I have St. Louis there. And, I mean,
you had St. Louis as well. Yeah.
I think it's a lightning bolt, but let's be honest. We don't know that is a lightning bolt either. That's the other thing we have to understand. Yeah. That we're speculating it's a lightning bolt, but it could be something way different.
It certainly looks like a lightning bolt, but yeah, it could definitely be something completely different there. The silver and black logo, I literally, it could be a wing of a bird. It could be the hair of one of those Hawaiian dudes, the little I don't know what the hell they're called, but I don't know what to make that silver and black.
Like a pineapple?
Like the pineapple, yeah, like the little pineapple guys or whatever. What did you make of this logo, Mark? I can't put anything together with that one. It just kind of looks like a shadow of sorts.
Yeah, I have no idea what the logo is. I gave it to Dallas because the colors, but what the logo could be, I have no idea. Kind of looks like an angry bird.
The silver and black one, the second one on the picture, RJ. What do you got there? What do you think? Or
I have New York personally. It was by a process of elimination, and then also New York. Vince's headquarters are in Connecticut. That's close enough to New York to count in the New York metropolitan area. Vince is a self-proclaimed bit of a badass himself, and I don't think he'd want to stop promoting that idea. The only reason, the main caveat would be against that is that it's the late it's the late WCW logo color. So, I don't know. I mean, it could be anybody. That was the last one I had that assigned team to get, so I have no idea. I'm just trying to think of any connection. If you have any connections, please hit me up on social media and tell me what connections you got.
And all three of us actually had something different here, because I actually went with Los Angeles on this one because of the silver and black colors. The Raiders colors.
Ooh.
When they were in Los Angeles. And again, I don't know. The XFL could be doing something completely off kilter, but the Raiders obviously not going back to Los Angeles and moving to Las Vegas. I just felt that maybe the XFL would try to capitalize on that silver and black scheme there. Mark, the orange and red bar? I don't know what to call that. I guess it's the next one in after the silver and black one. What do you think that is?
Well, if there was a team from Iowa, that would be their logo. Because that's what it looks like.
Fair enough.
That's when I saw it, I'm thinking, oh, Iowa. But I'm like, there's no Iowa team. So I gave that to LA because it's the weirdest color scheme, and LA is a little weird. So that's what I did. No reasoning behind it other than the fact that the rest of them made more sense than that one.
Fair enough. All right, how about you, RJ? What'd you assign to that one?
I gave that to Houston, Texas. I feel like Texas and Kevin Drake can attest to this. It gets very, very hot down there. And, red and orange are generally heat-associated colors. So I could see it going to Houston.
We agree on this one. I actually went with Houston, too, because I thought that might have been like the top of an H. And they could have done something along the lines of like their space travel and the space shuttles. I have no idea if I'm anywhere close to it. I'm probably way off. But that's basically what my reasoning for that one was, I guess. The next one over, RJ, is the green colored and it kind of almost looks like an orange eye of sorts. What did you have there? What's your speculation on that one?
So the green and yellow one, I'm going Seattle because, all right, time for you young and NBA fans to learn a lesson. So back before they were the OKC Thunder, they were Seattle Supersonics. I don't know why I did that, and my producer's probably gonna give me all hell for doing that. But you know what? I did it for the content anyway. I don't know. I feel that would be a nice one for Seattle. It's what they have for the WNBA team, the Storm, as well. It just fits the city. You got to remember also the old original Seahawks logo had a hint of green in it, which was not a hint, a good bit of green in it, which was nice. So it has enough of an association for me to make it work.
And you bring up a good point about that green. Mark, what did you have in that spot there for you?
That one I went with Tampa only because I think it could be some kind of reptile, snake, crocodile, alligator, which obviously fits perfectly for Florida.
I was thinking he does a Flying Dutchman, maybe. I don't know, like Buccaneers Flying Dutchman. I get that. Like, you know what's SpongeBob the Flying Dutchman, how he looks so green? I'm sorry, I'm a SpongeBob nerd.
So, I mean, RJ, a lot of people do think they're going to stick with that pirate theme. So the bottom left one is one people think could be a Tampa one. But I don't know. I think they're going to stick with the animal and go with the snake.
Yeah, and the top right one for me was the same thing. I went with the Tampa Bay on that one. I kind of feel that that's the same thing along the lines of like a snake of sorts, maybe a viper. I don't really know what the prominent reptile is down in Tampa Bay, but I have a feeling that might end up being.
Ask Raksha. Like, she's from the Orlando area. She
I can ask Rock.
Times. Yeah,
absolutely. The bottom left one, Mark, it kind of looks like a mask and a red eye of sorts. The blue, red, and black one. What do you got there, and what's your speculation for a possible name of sorts there?
Yeah, see that one I think could be the Bandits. That seems to be one of the easier ones. Again, could be totally wrong, but I'm thinking Bandits there, and that one I went with Houston. Houston Bandits, I could see it. Plus, that does kind of look like the old. So we're going to do some of that. The old Oilers colors with the sky blue,
with sky blue and white.
Before they went to Houston, it was the Tennessee Oilers. So
that's not. Yeah, it's actually not a bad connection if we're looking at old color schemes in the area. How about you, RJ? Who'd you put down there in that bottom left corner of that picture?
So I went St. Louis. I don't know why I went St. Louis.
You just randomly assigned team names to cities, is what you did?
No, that one I didn't know where it was going to go, and I felt, And they can work aviation to this somehow, can't they? I mean, it's going to be aviation related if it's St. Louis, I feel.
I also went. I went Dallas actually with this one. I was thinking something along the lines of like the old cops and robbers and the old, cowboys and Indians games, and thinking to myself like the Dallas Bandits would be a good team name. To kind of keep in line with the old Western theme. I don't know. That logo seems like it's one of the easier logos to guess what it is until they actually reveal it, and it's actually something that's not even close to being a bandit. So, who the hell knows? We'll know Wednesday.
Not us.
We'll know Wednesday for sure. we discussed the one that looks like a lightning bolt. I had St. Louis there. What'd you have again, RJ, in that spot? Was that Tampa Bay? Tampa. And who'd you have there, Mark?
St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay. And moving on to the next one, the one that kind of looks like a dragon of sorts, the green and the blue with the red. RJ?
I went Dallas. I think it could be a snake of sorts, actually. I think you could get, like, the Dallas Copperheads or something like that.
Fair enough. How about you, Mark? Who'd you have in that spot?
That's where I put Seattle. And I agree. I think it looks like a dragon. And knowing that Dragon was one of the 5 team names that they supposedly grabbed, I think that's theirs.
Yeah, if they're going to stick with the green scheme, I put Seattle there as well. I think that will probably be revealed as the Dragon. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the name, but whatever. If that is in fact the name, but it would stick it with the color scheme at least, that Seahawk blue and green color type situation there. And the last one, that blue, silver, and white wings, maybe? I'm not really sure. RJ, where'd you have there? Who'd you put there?
I got the city of Los Angeles for this one. If anybody looked at the old USFL jerseys for the LA Express, they have a similar color scheme. You know, it's a clean look. I feel like LA would get that. I don't know. My gut says LA. Yeah, that's my reasoning.
Okay, fair enough. Mark, would you put there in the corner?
Wait. Before you rag on me for having no reason, you sprung this on me. So I'm giving the best logic I can in like 30 minutes of preparation time.
No, that's completely fine, man. We did throw you to the birds on that one. Mark, who'd you have in there in that corner down there?
Speaking of birds, I think it is some kind of bird. Could be like a vulture or something like that. But I put New York there. The color scheme just kind of goes New York-y a little bit, and it just, it's probably one of the least cartoony looking of the zoomed in shots, and I think that could be New York.
Mark, that's a sentence no one has ever said before, I think. The most cartoony of the zoomed in shots.
But that's the problem. They look cartoony when we zoom in like this, and that's the worry that they're going to be. I don't think they will be once we zoom out, but that's the worry right now.
This isn't going to be in your house era WWF cartoony, don't worry. We're not going to have Isaac Yankem DDS coming out as a mascot.
No, we're definitely not. I think that's pretty much a guarantee. I had New York there as well. I think the color scheme with the blue, the silver, the white, New York is associated with blue with the New York Yankees. They have the Mets there too, but that's more of a Yankee blue type color. The Bronx Bombers, obviously, they have that like gray silver color as well. So
the Giants.
The Giants have a blue. They're a jersey. They don't count.
That's an argument for another day. That's an argument for another day that I'd love to go into.
But I mean, again, though, the Giants have the blue color. The Brooklyn Nets have a blue color. I think that New York, if they were to stick with that scheme, I think that would probably be that down there. I have literally zero idea as to what they would call that team. Maybe the New York Eagles.
Oh Lord!
To represent. I mean, I don't think they would. I don't think they're going to go with a NFL team name, but it could be something along those lines. Maybe. I have
Skyhawks?
No idea. The Skyhawks? Why the Skyhawks?
I don't know. Like
there's a lot of pigeons.
No. Like the New York City skyline. Like I can see like the maybe being like rotated buildings if you put them back up a different way. I don't know. I'm really reaching here tonight, guys. I'm like doing gymnastics.
That's completely fine. At least you stretched beforehand, or did you not? I'm not.
I think I pulled a hamstring partway through this, so I'm gonna say I didn't.
Yeah, don't pull a hammy. The hamstrings linger. That's not a good idea. So basically, essentially, what this boils down to is we literally have zero idea as to what most of these are.
Yeah.
We might have gotten maybe, 1 out of 4, so maybe 25% right if we're lucky, if we landed the Bandits and the Dragons. Other than that, I don't have a clue. My producer didn't do a very good job of giving me his answers beforehand, so I could reveal that. So
run.
I did see him put one up for that Iowa one, which I believe he said Tampa. The only reason I would say that's not Tampa is that is way too similar to the Buccaneers colors, and I don't think they want to match an NFL team already.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think that they're going to... I think that's the biggest thing when we're discussing these color schemes and we're going to discuss these team names is I think they're going to try to stay away from NFL-related stuff unless it's something that pertains to... my reasoning for the silver and black being Los Angeles. That would be the only thing I could think of that they would do if they were going to associate anything with the XFL to the NFL would be the old school stuff. So like St. Louis, the Rams scheme colors are gold, blue, and white, and I didn't see any color scheme to suggest that. So St. Louis, I have no idea what else they could be. That's the reason why I went to red and white with the Cardinals scheme color.
But I could see St. Louis not wanting to be like the Rams, being mad that they left again. So, I believe the Arizona Cardinals used to be in St. Louis, I believe, at one point, which they're red and white. So, could they be going back to an old school team like that?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I base a lot of, at least my personal reasonings off. Now, granted, I know that a lot that doesn't mean anything to anybody else but myself.
You're not wrong.
But, yeah, no, I absolutely. I know I'm not wrong. I'm hardly ever wrong, RJ. But so I don't know though. I mean, I think that this was I think the biggest thing here when discussing this is I think that this was something that was very smart based upon what they did, because I feel like this is generating a buzz. They waited a long time, and now that I really get thinking about it, and we'll discuss this more on XFL Now, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll cover this a lot more in depth because the names will be released. But I think one of the biggest things that we discussed on on XFL Now and previous, and even this show here, was when they were going to release the names. And now that they have picked this specific week to do so, I mentioned it a little bit to Mark earlier. This kind of makes sense to me, RJ, and I don't know how you feel about this, but this is the biggest week for preseason NFL because this is the game where it's supposed to be the dress rehearsal for the opening season, so starters end up playing longer. It's typically the most watched preseason week that the NFL has, and this kind of piggybacks off the NFL scheduling here and generates a very large buzz to drop the name Wednesday, the day before the first set of games for this week. That's kind of ingenious, don't you think?
I'd say so. I mean, it's Vinnie Mac. He does a lot of stuff that's smart, and then some other ventures that we won't go into.
This is true, but I mean, Mark... Mark, do you agree with that, though? I mean, does it make sense that this is a smart timing to do it, and it kind of steals a little bit of the NFL thunders, and it kind of gives a little bit of a piggyback off this situation?
I think it makes perfect sense. I've expected them to do it. I thought they would do it earlier in the preseason slate, but doing it on the week of the biggest games, which everybody knows, and doing it the day before, not doing the day of, so you're not trying to compete with them, not doing it too early in the week that you lose that momentum. You did it the day before. So people are still going to be talking about it as of Thursday and Friday when most of the games happen.
Yeah, and I think that's the and this is where I think the difference between this XFL version and the XFL version of old. This is one of the biggest things is Vinnie Mac has, and yes, I just referred to him as Vinnie Mac, has done a great job of putting people in place that know their football. They have a knowledge, they have an understanding of how it goes as far as the sports is concerned. And the way that marketing is, releasing this over the weekend gives people a speculation to talk about up until the release on Wednesday. Then you do a press conference on Wednesday, at 12:30, so it's right in the middle of the day. which is good for both. The West Coast, they're waking up to the news. The East Coast, they're on a lunch break if they happen to work a 9 to 5. And then for other people, they get out and the news is sitting there. So this is going to generate really good buzz for the XFL, and it's definitely going to steal the thunder from the NFL for this season for sure. 310-876-8064. That is the phone number you want to call to talk to us. At AFN Talk across all social media, afntalk.com, afnn.net. We are brought to you tonight by primetimesportstalk.com. RJ, do you have anything else you want to talk about real quick on this XFL logos here?
No, I think given my thoughts on the XFL logo, though I do a bit miss the old black X for the league logo. I kind of like that, not going to lie.
Sounds good to me. We have a live caller here tonight. Hello, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey. What's your name, man? Where are you from? Where are you calling from?
Frank. I'm actually from Wheeling, right where Greg had the Rough Riders this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep. Actually, did a little work for them on the side as well. Got to know those guys. It was actually fun. I had a lot of fun doing that with those guys this year. But wanted to drop a little tidbit for you guys, give you something to think about the XFL logos. Remember the Tampa Bay Tornadoes logo? How it had like the little lightning bolts? Well, I'm thinking that little lightning bolt, they're going to rebrand and still be the Tampa Tornadoes.
You think the XFL is going to just rebrand it and go with the same the same name of sorts, the Tornadoes nickname there?
From what I was told, that could be a high possibility.
Interesting. That's definitely not something that I thought of at all for sure. That's actually
from what I know. There's several people involved in the old Tampa Tornadoes franchise that's going to be currently involved with the XFL franchise. So one and the same almost.
That is definitely interesting to think about. Thank you for giving us a call and giving us some of the tidbit there. Definitely give us something to contemplate over the next couple of days here while we get ready for the 12:30 press conference for the names. For sure.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for giving us a call, man.
Not a problem, guys.
Have a good night, man. Thank you for giving us a call.
You too.
310-876-8064. That is the number you want to call if you just want to drop any type of tidbit there. So, RJ, what do you think about this? Do you think that, or Mark even, I mean, whoever wants to, what do you think about this? Do you think that they stick to that Tornadoes type theme like you said, RJ, earlier? You think they stick to that storm?
I think if it's going to be a storm-related thing, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Thunder. Mostly because they already have Lightning in the NHL team. Tornadoes is taken by the indoor team, I think, and I don't think Vince wants to associate with that. And, that leaves limited options for storm-related things because the term storm was taken, by the Tampa Bay Storm, the AFL, and that trademark is still active, so I'm going Thunder.
You going with the Thunder. How about you, Mark? You think that changes your opinion on anything as far as that's concerned, or?
Oh, it sure does, because, I mean, if he's saying that's what he's hearing and these people are working supposedly with the XFL, you have to kind of go with that a little bit. I mean, I'm going to stick to that it's still the other logo for now, but as we all talked about, we all kind of agreed it could be Tampa with the whole lightning bolt thing, so.
Fair enough. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the 2-minute drill here in a minute. 310-876-8064. It's the number to give us a call at AFN Talk across all social media. We are brought to you tonight by primetimesportstalk.com. Welcome back. primetimesportstalk.com presents AFN Live. We're here on a Monday night. We're a day late, and I don't think $1 short. I don't know, RJ, you still have that $1 that I lent you earlier? Or did you spend that on, like, bubble gum or something?
Yeah, I spent it on some bubble gum.
You spent it? 310-876-8064 at AFN Talk across all social media. AFNtalk.com, AFNN.net. This is the part in time we close the show. We call this our 2-minute drill. It's final thoughts with the panel. And tonight we're going to go ahead and start with, let's start over there with Mark. Mark, 2-minute drill, final thoughts, anything you want to discuss and talk about. The floor is yours.
So I'm going to bring in some major news from the CFL. Matt Nichols, the quarterback for the Blue Bombers out of Winnipeg, has been put on the 6-week IR with an undisclosed upper body injury. He was hit late in that game, knocked out with about 9 minutes left. Their sophomore quarterback, Chris Strevler, came in and replaced him, so he will be starting now for at least the next 6 weeks. They said they will reevaluate Nichols in about 4 to 6 weeks. It's not going to be surgery, but I think this is a huge blow to Winnipeg. We'll see if this backup could come in and play as well as Dane Evans has in Hamilton or Arbuckle has in Calgary, but for a team who was looking like they were going to be the best team, this is a big blow, and with it coming right in the middle of the season here, I'm not sure if they'll come back from this.
And, the thing with Chris Strivler is he plays. He sees the field. It's just in very limited action, usually special type plays, run plays of sorts. And it'll be interesting to see how this offense adjusts without Nichols there, see if they still open things up. Yeah,
their running back Harris said it's going to be a completely different offense with how Strevler can scramble around and do things. So it'll be interesting to see.
Definitely changes the dynamic. RJ, your 2-minute drill, your final thoughts, anything you want to discuss, the floor is yours, my man.
Well, thank you. Not a lot on my mind tonight. I think we had a great show, and thank you to Greg for coming on. Congrats to the Brook Riders, all the champions crowned recently. I'm looking forward to another year of indoor and arena ball. And speaking of that, one of my favorite topics is expansion, and soon I will be dropping a series of articles discussing possible expansion cities, so make sure to look for that on afntalk.com.
Yeah, thank you, RJ, for that. And obviously, expansion is always a big thing when discussing, any of these leagues, because people want more football. As much as they want to say they don't want more football, we all want more football. And I love the fact that this year I literally went every weekend where there was a football game I could watch, and I don't ever want it to go away. Plain and simple. I'm selfish. For me, my 2-minute drill here tonight is going to be more along the lines of just discussing more of my experience with this as far as the leagues are concerned, and especially learning these leagues. This has been such a ride. It's been joyous to sit here and talk football. This is one of the best things that has ever happened to me, is getting my eyes open to these other leagues. And, whether it be the CFL, the IFL, the NAL, AFL, et cetera, it is something that I think that there is a very good market for. I think if people just took the time out to sit down and literally watch a game and see how the product is presented, like Bob, our caller from Ohio earlier, where he watched an NAL championship game. This was something that, he, sounded very thrilled that he was able to sit there and watch that game. It was a great game to watch. And I know Mark here on this panel is something that this was something that I kind of force-fed him. I kind of shoved down his throat without really him asking about it. And he's watched every weekend faithfully with us, and now he's here with us sharing his thoughts and analysis on stuff. RJ, I know that you have, been with this, indoor arena type format for a while now, and this is something that has been, a part of your life for a few years, or several years now, and there's a market for it, and people just need to open their eyes to it. Watch a game. Not every game is going to be great. It's just like the NFL. Not every game is great, but the pace is so much different. You're not going to feel like you're sitting there for a 4-hour game. Penalties are very heavily penalized. Games are very scarce. It's just been fun, and I just wanted to just talk about that real quick and how much fun I'm having with this. So, yeah, 310-876-8064 at AFN Talk across all social media platforms, afntalk.com, afn.net. I want to thank our, thank our primetimesportstalk.com for, presenting us tonight, and we'll see you next week. That's going to do it for AFN Live tonight. Thank you.